All praises to Yahweh by Shema Rashah Mashiach. Call her Yahweh by Shema Rashah Mashiach. All praises to Yahweh in the name of your son Yahweh Shah. Fisherman Vizayan back with another video through the spirit and the power of Yahweh by Shema Rashah. All praises, glory, honor to Yahweh in the name of your son Yahweh Shah. Call her Yahweh by Shema Rashah Mashiach. All praises to Yahweh, who we understand according to the Paleo Hebrew, the Lashawan Kadash, as Yahweh by Hashem, in the name of his son, by Hashem, Yahweh Shah HaMashiach, who the world understands as Jesus the Christ, our Lord and Savior, the Messiah, the Anointed, the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords. We give him all glory, honor, and praise. Fisherman Vizayan, I'm back with another video. Brother Hosea, don't count this as a light thing to do. All praise to the Most High, Lord willing. So-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, the Saints, Yahshawala, you are enduring to the best of your ability, striving to continue to hold on to the faith, believing and trusting in the Most High, having hope that the Most High is going to redeem you from all hell, high water, and this corruptible body in these last days. Peace and blessings to the so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Lord willing, you enduring, striving to continue to forsake the flesh and the cares of this world. Don't count this as a light thing to do. Peace and blessings to each and every one through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shema Shah. I believe I titled this, The World is Ending. Why aren't you fasting? Mindset of the mourners and Esther, Purim. So Lord willing, you understand and you find this edifying in these last days through the spirit of power of Shema Shah. But as of Saturday, so like a Sunday night, which is so-called March 1st, would be Purim for those that's keeping it through the spirit of power of Shema Shah, March 1st and March 2nd. And Lord willing, you in that spirit. But we're going to open up with this precept in Hebrews chapter 3 real quick. This is the book of Hebrews chapter 3. And I'm going to start at verse 12. Hebrews chapter 3, start at verse 12, and it reads, it says, take heed, brethren, lest there be in any of you an evil heart of unbelief in departing from the living Most High God. So Lord willing, you taking heed, you're being aware, you're being attentive to paying attention to your spirit, paying attention to things that's going on in your life, things that's going on in your household, whether you have a spouse or not, whether you have children or not, because your body is your household as well. Lord willing, you stand 10 toes down and you're protecting yourself from all fiery darts that Satan may throw at you, as well as the Most High will send to test you. So I'm gonna read this one more time. Hebrews 3 and 12. Take heed, brethren, lest there be in any of you an evil heart. So you have to be aware that you don't have an evil heart. You know, you might have a mind that might have started off on fire for the Most High, and then you may have found somewhat things in life that may have caused you to drift away, whether it be your flesh, whether it be somebody else, whether it be lust, coveting, whether it be money, whether it be, you know, somebody that you may look at as a high regard that you love and care about. They may pull you away, you know, cause you to have different thoughts towards the Most High. You know, may mock you constantly day in and day out. They may say you in the court. They may say you need to change your life. They may make jokes about your beard. They may make jokes about your fringes. So you got to be aware that you don't have an evil mind, you know, because your thoughts can cause you to have an evil mind as well, you know. So verse 13, Hebrews 3 and 13, but exhort one another daily. So encourage one another while it is called today, lest any of you be hardened through the deceitfulness of sin. And so we all fall short. That's why it's important that we have to repent and get back up from what we fell short of. And so like the title said, the world is ending. Why aren't you fasting? Mindset of the mourners. So if you don't know, and if you're not aware, this society is collapsed. You know, the end of the world is here, whether you believe it or not. Now I want to get this in 1 Peter real quick. Now this is 1 Peter. Where I want to start at. This is 1 Peter. I want to get 1 Peter chapter 4, and I'm gonna start at verse 7, and it reads, and then we're gonna go to the Apocrypha. I also want to get a precept in the Apocrypha as well. Now this is 1 Peter chapter 4, and I'm gonna start at verse 7, and it reads, it says, but the end of all things is at hand. So the end is here. You know, whether you're trying to make yourself think that things are gonna get better, you know, you're banking on your tax check, whatever, you know, your return. You're banking on, you know, hitting the lottery or some numbers getting pulled, and or you know, you playing your FanDuel or you gambling, you know, whatever you think you gonna get a break in this life, you know, the Israelites we're gonna tell you straight up, you can't put your hope and your trust in this society because it's gonna fall short. The Most High said you can't serve two masters. You serving money and think you can run to the Most High when that money collapse, or when that money is all gone. You can't serve two masters. You gotta pick and choose who you gonna serve. You gonna serve the Most High, or you gonna serve your flesh. Money here and it's gone. Run like water. They ain't no getting rich. And if you are so-called well off, you know, guess what? You should be helping somebody. You should be giving alms. You should be doing something to pretty much show forth that you have faith in the Most High, and you don't have faith in that money. So 1 Peter chapter 4 and verse 7, but the end of all things is at hand. Be ye therefore sober and watch unto prayer. So you should be on the righteous spirit of having self-control, having awareness, you know, and always constantly praying, making sure you're not going too much to the left, making sure you're not going too much to the right. And these are the last days. These are the last days. All hell is breaking loose. You know, many people are falling away from the Most High. Many people are going after their lust. Many people are waxing words cold, love waxing cold. So you got to ask yourself, why aren't you fasting? You know, and why is it important? And why are we talking about fasting? Not only did Esther fast when the Jews was about to be extinct, you know, when all of the so-called Negroes were about to be extinct, she didn't fold under pressure. Nor did Mordecai when you read Esther. You know, and if you can read additions to Esther, if you have an apocrypha, you know, so you got to understand that being in the spirit of mourning can help you. But everybody else, they're in the spirit of mirth. They're having a good time, celebrating, you know. And we're not saying it's a sin to be in the spirit of mirth, because obviously, you know, so-called Saturday night, we got destruction in Nicanor, where we, you know, give all glory, honor, and praise to the Most High for, you know, allowing our enemies to be trodden down and to be casted down, as well as having their head taken off. Not just, you know, Goliath, but as well as Nicanor and Haman, you know, had himself hung when you read Esther. So the Most High will also give us victory over our enemies, but it's more so important for us to follow his orders, follow his laws and statutes and commandments. Now I want to read this real quick in Luke chapter 21. Let's go to Luke 21. So you should be fasting in these last days. And if you're not fasting, you got to ask yourself, do you really have faith? Do you really believe? And we're going to get the precepts. Because, hey, Moses fasted, Yahweh Shah fasted, the Messiah himself fasted. So what makes you think you don't have to fast? You need him. And he showed you how to do it in the flesh. Showed you how to do it in the flesh. There's nobody else that you can pattern your life after besides the Messiah himself. There's nobody you should want to follow besides the Messiah himself. Your dad, your earthly father may have taught you. Your earthly mother may have taught you. Your English teacher, your social study teacher, you know, your supervisor may give you orders and things like that. But the number one person we should be following day to day, night by night, morning by morning, week by week, second, hour, minute, to the best of our ability is Yahweh Shah, who we understand as the Messiah, the Christ, the anointed. So this is Luke chapter 21 and verse 19, and it reads, it says, in your patience. And a lot of people, they don't have patience. A lot of people don't have patience. No, I can't go without food. No, I can't go without water. I gotta have it right then. I gotta have that Chick-fil-A. I gotta have that Chipotle. I gotta have it right then. Well, you gonna find out on Judgment Day that your soul was more important than fast food. Food that's not even real. Food that all it does is make you sleepy. This food in America, which is so many chemicals in these foods, and a lot of other countries, they ban a lot of this stuff that we eat because it's bad for us. Didn't the Most High say, you know, eat your defiled bread in Ezekiel? So you so hungry, you so idolizing food, you know, you idolize your body, you can't go without a meal, and you expect the Most High to answer your prayer as if he's supposed to, because you know how to quote Bible verses, or you know how to teach, or you know how to sew a dress, or you know how to do this or do that, or you might have gave some alms last month. You know, the Most High don't have to do nothing for me. You know, he sits on the throne, not me. The Most High, he ain't got to answer my prayers. The Most High ain't got to answer your prayers. You know, so it's important for us to understand this. So the Most High said, Yahweh Bashim Yahushua said, Luke 21 and verse 19, in your patience possess ye your souls. And so what is this saying? Now, let's go. I want to get this in another translation. Now, I want to get this in. Let me get another translation. Nah, GNT is good, but I want to get this. This is the ESV. This is the English Standard Version. Because this truth is about endurance. The Messiah spoke about enduring. So this is the ESV, Luke 21 and 19. It says, by your endurance, you will gain your lives. That's, you know, that's plain upon tables. Now, GNT, Good News Translation, Luke 21 and 19, it says, stand firm and you will save yourselves. But how can you stand firm if you're not patient? So it's important for us to be patient in these last days. Very important. Very important. The Most High, he doesn't have to answer our prayers, but fasting helps. You know, fasting kind of amps that thing on another level. You know, while you're fasting, you're mourning. You should be mourning. You should be asking the Most High for forgiveness for things that you may have done wrong. And you should be examining yourself to the point where you know what you're doing wrong. Now, I want to get, before I get this next precept, I want to get this through the Spirit. Now, I want to get this in Psalms real quick. You should be examining yourself. You should be on a level where you love the Most High, and anything that you think of, that you can think of, that may make him upset or cause him to be angry, you should be on another level of saying, you know, I can't continue to live my life like this. So this is Psalms chapter 19. Let's see what David said. Psalms chapter 19 and verse 12. Psalms 19 and 12. It says, who can understand his errors? Or some people, you know, according to my, you know, my lingo, if you want to understand it like that, who can understand his errors? Cleanse thou me from secret faults. So somebody may have done something and they may not even be aware of it. So David said, Lord, protect me from things that I'm not even aware that I do. And that's very important to understand. And if you asking the Most High for things that's pure and that can bring you closer to him, it's a high chance that he can answer that prayer and he can make that thing come to pass. Pierce through the clouds. So the Most High said in Psalms 19 and 12, who can understand his errors? Cleanse thou me from secret faults. Verse 13, Psalms 19 and 13. Keep back thy servant also from presumptuous sins. Let them not have dominion over me. Things you may think is okay. the Most High, he wouldn't look at it as a sin. You got to ask the Most High to protect you from secret faults and presumptuous sins. These are things we should be asking the Heavenly Father to protect us from, especially if we want to get closer to him, if we want to be found righteous in his eyes, if we want him to, you know, not lay certain charges upon us, to wipe us clean, you know, cleanse us with his hyssop. So Psalms 19:13, keep back thy servant also from presumptuous sins, let them not have dominion over me. Then shall I be upright and I shall be innocent. A lot of us, we not innocent. Now I cannot fix my face and my mouth to say I'm innocent. I can't say that. I will be a fool to say that. And why if I was to say that, why is David saying, you know, then he shall be innocent? You know, a lot of us, we're not innocent. So it says, and I shall be innocent from the great transgression. So we got to understand that this thing is very important in these last days. Prayer and fasting is very important. So I'm going to get this real quick in Ecclesiastes, you know. And when you also understand that the aspect of mourning, your mindset of mourning, because you know, especially if you know how the Most High gets down according to judgment, according to being obedient and things we're supposed to be doing, it's on another level when you understand the judgment that comes with sinning and transgressing, you know, and being known as wicked. That's another mindset of being on the level of mourning as well, because you understand that judgment is coming for you if you don't repent and get yourself on the right track. Now this is Ecclesiastes 1:16, and it reads, it says, I commune with my own heart, saying, lo, I am come to great estate, and have gotten more wisdom than all they that have been before me in Jerusalem. Yea, my heart had great experience of wisdom and knowledge. And we understand Solomon was the wisest man that walked the earth, you know. Verse 17, and I gave my heart to know wisdom and to know madness and folly. I perceive that this also is vexation of spirit. Verse 18, to the point. For in much wisdom is much grief. So the more wisdom you get, the more grief you're going to have. And what comes with grief? Mourning. So it says, Ecclesiastes 1:18, for in much wisdom is much grief, and he that increaseth knowledge increaseth sorrow. So the more the Most High open up our spirit and our mind to understand his secrets, his prophecies, his similitudes, his parables, his dark sayings, the more we're going to be in a state of mourning, the more we're going to be in grief, the more we're going to be in sorrow. Because we gotta now we gotta walk on eggshells. You can't be around any and everybody. You can't be saying any and everything. You can't be watching any and everything. Because your spirit is different. Your mindset is different. Your thoughts are different. And that's the mindset of mourners in these last days. Especially when the Most High give you a little bit more wisdom than others. Especially when he give you a little bit more knowledge than others. He take you to another level. And that's why people look at you and they kind of assume that you're a little crazy or you're a little off. And the whole time, it's the Most High putting you on another level, giving you the knowledge and understanding and wisdom of how things should be in the spirit in these last days. Now, I want to get this real quick. In Matthew chapter 9. So you know death is coming upon the earth. You know pestilence is going to be on a high level. You know persecution is going to be on a high level. So you knowing that, why wouldn't you prepare yourself? Why wouldn't you prepare your spirit? Why wouldn't you prepare your household? How could you just be moving in this society any type of way? How could you just be listening to any and everything? Everybody else listen to this album, but people that's mourning, they're gonna listen to a different album. Everybody in the society that's wicked, they going to that party, but everybody else that's mourning, they home preparing their spirit for what's coming to the earth. Death and destruction, missiles, ICBM missiles, all type of stuff is coming to the earth. So you should have a mindset of a mourner on another level. Somebody that's gonna be in the spirit as if they was Ezekiel, or if you a woman, Rachel, Leah, Mary, you know, things like that. So this is Matthew chapter 9, and I'm gonna start at verse 14. And it reads, it says, then came to him the disciples of John, saying, why do we and the Pharisees fast off, but thy disciples fast not? Verse 15, and Yahushua said unto them, and if you may be new to this channel, we understand that it says Jesus, like it says in Matthew 1:21, his mother named him he who saves, according to the Paleo Hebrew, Lashawan Kadash, Yahushua. So Matthew 9:15, and Yahushua said unto them, can the children of the bride chamber mourn as long as the bridegroom is with them? But the days will come when the bridegroom shall be taken from them, and then shall they fast. So how can we fast if Yahushua was here with us? That'd be a sight. That'd be the most pleasant and beautiful and sought after thing to experience. If the King of Kings, the number one person on the face of the earth, is in your presence. But when he's not, of course, you're gonna mourn. You're gonna be weeping. Because his spirit is beautiful. It's beautiful to have the Most High Spirit, to have the Holy Spirit, to have that comfort. But it's a difference when that person is with you in the flesh. It's a whole difference. You can actually talk to them. You can ask them a question. They give you an answer right then if they want to. There's many things that go on and take place when that person is in your presence. Just like a child, when that child mother or father is not there, what goes on? You know, they mind wonders. You know, it's a lot of fear that try to kicks in. And the same thing with Yahushua. So Yahushua is not on the earth physically. So what should we be doing? We should be mourning. Mourning and getting ourselves in a position to long for him in the flesh. But why would he want to be around us if we was filthy, if we was wicked, abominable, idolaters, adulterers, whoremongers, thieves, robbers, scammers, you know, sorcerers, witches, warlocks, pedophiles? Why would Yahushua want to be around them? You should try to get yourself in a position to make him want to sup with you, to be around you. You mourning constantly, day and night, praying, weeping and moaning. Lord, come sup with me. Lord, plead with me. Lord, have mercy on me. Lord, take care of me. Lord, comfort me. Lord, shield me, shelter me, cover me. But how can he do that if you wicked? If you're not even praying, if you're not even trying to pray, if you're not even reading, if you're not even trying to read, if you ain't looking out for somebody else, hey, do you need help? Do you need help? Can I help you with something? You showing people that you got his spirit on you. Or else you showing people that you got the spirit of Shaitan, Satan. So we're gonna read this one more time. Matthew chapter 9 and verse 15, it says, and Yahushua said unto them, can the children of the bride chamber mourn as long as the bridegroom is with them? So why would a child constantly cry when their parent is with them, giving them everything that it is that they want? So that's what Yahushua is saying. Can the children of the bride chamber mourn as long as the bridegroom is with them? But the days will come when the bridegroom shall be taken from them, and then shall they fast. So Yahweh Shah said, it's going to come a day, a time, and a place, and an hour when I'm not going to be there. I'm not going to be on the earth physically in the flesh. And when that time comes, then they shall fast. But who's fasting, though? Who in these last days is really afflicting themselves? Or do somebody got to force you? Or do somebody got to put hands on you? To say, hey, in your patience, possess your soul. Strengthen your faith. Strengthen your fear for the Most High. Why should you wait until you get in a car wreck? Or until your lights get cut off? Or until somebody got to take a kidney from you? Or until your leg get amputated? Why would you have to wait until something drastic happen in your life that say, oh man, I need to go on a fast? Why should you wait until your spouse is found committing adultery for you to fast? Why should you wait until you get fired from your job to fast? You should have been doing that the day you got hired. The Most High gave you that job. You should have been saying all praises to Yahweh and Yahweh Shah. I need to go on a fast. I want my voice to be heard. I want the Most High to know how grateful I am. Let me afflict myself more. Let me stay ready so I ain't got to get ready. But who doing that? And the last time I checked, the Most High said, as in the days of Noah were, so shall it also be when the Son of Man come back. People just going to be eating and drinking, you know, and just comforting themselves. Having fun. Having a good time. How can you have a good time when the world is in shambles? You know? And there's demons in the chat. You know, Most High willing, everybody that's not sincere in the chat, you know, the Most High can get them up out of there. Swiftly and speedily. How can you go on a so-called vacation and actually enjoy that vacation when your spirit ain't right? You don't know what the Most High got planned for you. 18-wheeler might take you off the road. Somebody might try to air it out thinking you somebody else. Mistaking you for the ops. Next thing you know, boop, boop, boop. Your baby get hit. Your wife get hit. You barely escape. Y'all got to stop playing with the Most High. Straight up. You know, especially y'all camp bangers too. You know. And the Most High really gonna show you. The Most High really gonna show you pretty soon that he ain't nothing to play with at all. You know, of course you can't look at me and tell if I'm a sincere brother, you know. But the Most High also said, in that day and that hour, in the second Esdras, then you shall know who the elect is, who really loves him, who's really after him. So let's go to Matthew real quick. Matthew chapter 4. And the Messiah fasted. Yahweh Shah, the anointed Christ himself fasted. So this is Matthew chapter 4. And so what? So what you gotta work? You got all these excuses why you can't fast. I don't see from Genesis to Revelation not one excuse our forefathers made. Not even Moses himself. Yahweh Shah didn't make no excuse why he couldn't fast. Moses didn't make no excuse why he couldn't fast. You got all these demons on you. You got all these spirits on you. And then you got all these excuses. I gotta work. It's too hot. Somebody gonna smell my breath. Somebody gonna smell my odor. What if I pass out? Hey, I remember a couple years back, we was doing I believe it was a flyer mission. I want to say it was somewhere like around so-called 4th of July. We were doing a flyer mission and it was hot. It was blazing. I'm talking about it was hot. Like it was hot. Like it was scorching hot. If you know anything about North Carolina, you know it gets hot down here. Like humid too. People from Texas come down here and say this is a different level of heat. But long story short, we was doing a flyer mission, and I just so happened to do a fast, and I was almost to the end of the fast, and I'm talking about like my legs were so weak, like I literally barely could stand. Like we was walking, and I didn't want nobody to know, you know. So the brothers, they was like, "Hey, you all right? What's going on with you?" I was like, "Man, I gotta go back to the car." I didn't want to tell nobody. I didn't want to tell no brothers. No, I didn't want to tell nobody that I was fasting until I literally thought I wasn't gonna make it. Like I literally thought I was gonna die. Like literally, like I thought I was gonna die. I had to tell a brother. So I went back to the car. Everybody else, they out there passing out flyers, and I'm like, man, this is crazy. I'm about to go out like this. So I went to the car, put the AC on. I'm talking about like I'm just weak, and like as soon as I sit down, like I kind of catch my breath, and I was like, all right, I'm about to go back out there. As soon as I go back out there, it got worse. So I was, you know, I had to tell somebody because I thought I was gonna die that day. But all praise to the Most High that I made it through, and I endured that though. But it ain't no excuse, you know. If you got a lot going on in your life, if you got a family, or you got children, or you got a job, it seems like you really can't set your schedule how you want to. We about to read how Yahweh Shah fasted even on the Shabbat, even on the Sabbath. You might got one day off of your work week, your so-called work week. Sometimes, hey, you might have to fast on that Sabbath day. You know, you can't say, well, it's the Sabbath, I can't fast. It don't say nowhere in here where it's a sin to fast on the Sabbath. You know, now we want to use our wisdom and our knowledge to move in the spirit of righteousness, of course. But at the same time, like we read in Luke 21:19, in your patience, you got to possess your soul. So you got to ask yourself, when's the last time you fast? What kind of spirits are you dealing with? What are you fighting? What are you strong in? What are you weak in? What is causing you to not excel and to grow? So this is Matthew chapter 4 and verse 1, and it reads, it says, then was Yahweh Shah led up of the spirit into the wilderness to be tempted of the devil. You know, and there's temptations right now. You got temptations on the comment board. You know, you got temptations on your job. You got temptations all around you. Temptation might be on your phone, scrolling, Instagram, social media, Twitter, X, you know, Snapchat, whatever. Temptation might be at the grocery store. Temptation is all around you. Ain't no escaping it. Yahweh Shah couldn't escape it. If the Messiah can get tempted, what you think gonna happen to you? So temptation is going to be all around you. Does that mean you have to give into that temptation? No, you don't have to give into it. But prayer and fasting can strengthen you to overcome that, to fight that, to battle with that, you know, kind of, you know, bob and weave, you know, get in and out, you know, kind of move around, take some hits, kind of get up and get back. So if Yahweh Shah, the Messiah himself, got tempted, of course you're going to get tempted, because what? You believe in him as an Israelite, so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native American. You following the same path he took, and you think you going to go without tempted. You think you just going to take them lust blows, them weed demon blows, you know, them harlots and whores trying to get at you blows. You know, if you're a wimp or if you're a woman, them men trying to trick you up. That money kind of flashing in your face, you know, kind of flashing in your face, tempting you. That coveting spirit tempting you. It's a lot of things that's gonna tempt you. But does that mean you have to give into it? No, that don't mean you. No. You gotta fast, you gotta pray, you gotta fight, you gotta use that armor. You gotta go out there with a good fight. You got to show the enemy you got faith. No, I ain't going out like that. You know, I believe. Every time Satan had something for Yahweh Shah came back with a blow. Hit him again. Deuteronomy 8:3. Hit him again. Deuteronomy 6. Hit him again. You know. But instead, you got people just bow, bow. You know, just getting ate up. They ain't really swinging. You know, sloth a demon. Swing on them. They don't swing back. No videos. No teaching. They ain't say nothing. They come straight home. They don't say nothing to their wife. They don't teach their children. They don't throw up no prayers. You know, they just let that sloth demon just You know, now you got demons beating you up, and then you go back out in the world and more demons beating you up, and you ain't throwing no jabs back. But that fasting and praying, you know, it can help you. You know, you kind of putting up your defense. You know, you kind of putting up the you know, the Mayweather roll. You know, kind of protecting your chin. If you're a boxer, if you're a fighter or whatever, you know, you just going out there with no armor on. You know, just going out there, and if I didn't have armor on, you know, I'll be responding to this fool right here in the chat. You know, but I understand. Hey, look, there's more sheep to feed beside that one. So the Most High said, Matthew chapter 4 verse 1. Then was Yahushua led up of the spirit into the wilderness to be tempted of the devil, and when he had fasted 40 days and 40 nights. So Yahushua fasted on the new moon, fasted on the Shabbat. You gotta do what you gotta do. Last time I read in Ezekiel 14:14, Daniel, Noah, and Job worked out their own salvation. You can't just say, man, it's my only day off. You know, that's the only time I got to do this and to do that. Hey, look, on Judgment Day, that day off ain't gonna matter. Ain't none of that gonna matter on Judgment Day. You better work out your salvation right now. If you need to do a fast tonight, you need to do a fast tonight. If you need to do a fast Friday night when the sun go down on the Shabbat, you better go and get it in. Cause the Most High might cut you off Friday. The Most High might cut you off Saturday. Might cut you off Sunday. And who's to say that he heard your voice? That fasting gonna amp that up. It's gonna take it to another level. What he said? He repent from that lust. Okay, yeah. He fasted. Okay, yeah. Let me hear him. Yeah. I heard him this time. Last time I ain't hear him, cause he was out there talking to 3 women, and didn't even acknowledge the law that I gave him. Last time he was out there gambling, didn't even acknowledge the law that I gave him. Idolizing. So Matthew chapter 4 and verse 3. Matter of fact, we got to finish verse 2. Matthew chapter 4 verse 2. And when he had fasted 40 days and 40 nights, he was afterward a hunger. And when the tempter came to him, he said, if thou be the Son of Most High God, command that these stones be made bread. So he got tempted. And what did Yahushua tell him? Verse 4, Matthew chapter 4 and 4. But he answered and said, it is written, man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeded out of the mouth of the Most High God. So, it ain't all about food. You know, especially you weightlifters. Gotta get your creatine, gotta get your protein shake, gotta get your berries and your mango and your pineapples in there. You know, you can't miss a workout. Ah, man, I can't go on a fast. You know, I gotta work on my legs today. Look, you better work on your salvation. You better work on your soul, because you got demons on you. You know, you going to the gym, and the only reason why you going to the gym is to look at women. You ain't there to work out. You there to lust after women. Stop playing with yourself. Stop deceiving yourself. A lot of you brothers and sisters deceive yourselves, thinking you ain't doing that, but you really are. That's why, we read it in the beginning. Like David said in Psalms 19, presumptuous sins, and secret faults. Satan got you on a tightrope thinking you escaping, but you're not. The Most High got a hit out on you, and you better go on a fast and pray before he have that angel come down and wreak a havoc on you. You know, the Most High got a hit out on a lot of us, and Lord willing, I escape the wrath. You know. So Yahweh Shah fasted. So let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 9. Moses fasted too. Two mighty men that played a major part in our lives as of right now. Moses, over 4,000 years ago, and Yahweh Shah the Messiah over so-called 2,000 years ago. Two played major parts in our lives. And they fasted. Moses said, he said in Sirach, he allowed certain things to happen through our forefathers. You know. I don't want to quote the scripture wrong, and I don't want to get it because I don't want to go off track. So he said, let us praise famous men that he wrought great glory through. Yahweh wrought great glory through his son for us to accept him. And Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua wrought great glory through Moses. You know. Now we don't worship and we don't bow down to Moses, but we learn from him. Now this is Deuteronomy chapter 9. And I'm going to start at verse 9, and it reads, it says, Deuteronomy 9:9, when I was gone up into the mount to receive the tables of stone, even the tables of the covenant, which the Lord Yahweh made with you, then I abode in the mount 40 days and 40 nights. I neither did eat bread nor drink water. So that right there shows you that he was willing to do what it took, you know, to get the job done, to worship the Most High, glorify the Most High. He put the Most High first instead of putting himself first. He afflicted his soul as well as Yahweh Shah the Messiah, you know. And this is a mindset of somebody that's mourning, because when you in a state of mourning, you understand that it's better things coming. What the fantasy that you in, that's not the end all be all. It's a better place than where we are right now. You know, and I'm not just talking about my house. I'm not just talking about that. The Most High has greater in store for us. You know, we get beat down every day, spiritually, as well as physically. Right, as of right now, as of live right now, as we speak, and as you are on this live, you got so-called elites, you know, trying to figure out a way to destroy the earth, to decrease the population, to put more poison in your foods, put more poison in the air, put more poison in your water, put more poison on the television screen, more poison in your schools, in your children's schools. You know, trying to figure out a way to get you jammed up. You know, they see everybody so-called eating healthy now. So what you think they're gonna do? They're gonna start making fake stuff that's already been done. You know, fake fruit, fake vegetables. Oh, you didn't want to take the jab? Oh, we gonna put it in your food now. You know, getting above you, getting very high, as it says in the curses, and we gonna get down low. Now this is Ecclesiastes. Let's go to Ecclesiastes, because this is the mindset of the mourners. You know, yeah, we got a feast day coming up. You know, back-to-back feast days, but at the back of your mind, you really can't turn up how you want to. You can't. Some of us got to go to work the next day if you ain't took off work. And not only that, it takes money to have a feast day and to buy this food. And not only that, you got to pay your mortgage. You got to pay your light bill. You got to pay your car note. You got to pay your insurance. You got to do all these things. You got to get your children this. You got to get your wife that. You got to do this. You got to do that. You know, so-called Purim. You know, you got to exchange gifts, give portions, like our forefathers and foremothers used to do. You know, and some of them really stress and can't really do it how they want to, because they ain't really got how they feel they should have, or what they should have. You know, hey, if you got to get somebody a car, look, don't break the bank. You know, a little something is better than stressing yourself out. And like we said, we want to turn up, but this is a rehearsal. You know, you ain't gotta go all out. You ain't gotta spend $1,000 on no garment. You ain't gotta spend $2,000 on no food. At the end of the day, as long as your spirit right and you fear Yahweh Shem Yahushua and you got faith in Yahweh Shem Yahushua, you keeping the commandments, you strive to forsake the flesh and the cares of this world to the best of your ability. The Most High knows. The Most High knows who's really in this. You know, and we're not talking about the fakers, those that's looking for Golden Globes, trying to be the best actor in Israel. There's a lot of actors out here, you know. But on Judgment Day, you can't act that. That's really gonna go down. The Most High ain't in the play with. So this is Ecclesiastes chapter 7 and verse 2, and it reads. It says, "It is better to go to the house of mourning than to the house of feasting. For that is the end of all men, and the living will lay it to his heart." And why is it better to go to the house of mourning than the house of feasting? Because the house of feasting, hey, it's but for a short time. The house of mourning, it brings forth things that allow you to understand, like, man, you know what? The reason why we here is because our forefathers went off. We broke the covenant. But when you feasting, you ain't really trying to think about that. You got the wine, you got the whiskey, you got the liquor. You know, somebody try to pull you to the side, have a deep conversation, a serious conversation. You gonna walk away. You're like, man, they trying to kill my vibe, man. I'm chilling, man. I'm doing my thing tonight, man. We turned up. But when you in the house of mourning, you kind of sitting back and you thinking, dang, man, you know, this is real, man. Did I really go off? And you start thinking, you start contemplating, start getting in the spirit. So verse 3, Ecclesiastes 7 and 3, sorrow is better than laughter, for by the sadness of the countenance the heart is made better. So it says sorrow is better than laughter. Because when you laughing, you hit that first joke, then you got to keep it rolling. You know, you want to make some more jokes. Or somebody make you laugh, and then the next person, they want to make you laugh. And then it goes around in a circle. It keep going around. But when you in sorrow, you know, you kind of like, man, I want the Lord to come back. I really want to get out of here. But when you laughing, you ain't thinking about the Lord coming back. You ain't thinking about how the Lord is going to destroy this place. You throwing jokes out there like you Kevin Hart or something. Verse 4, Ecclesiastes 7 and 4. The heart of the wise is in the house of mourning. So if you're a wise person, you're going to be mourning. You're going to be mad. Like, man, they really got us paying taxes out here, man. They done stole the land from the Native Americans, man. They done got all these children in these bunkers. They done got all these women out here that they raped and robbed, and they done did all of this. You start rolling. You start getting in the spirit. You start seeing everything for how it is. You know, man, they got these chemtrails. Man, they got these vaccines. Man, they out here killing people. Man, they out here lying to us. They told us Yahushua was white. You know, now you in the spirit. It says, Ecclesiastes 74, the heart of the wise is in the house of mourning, but the heart of fools is in the house of mirth. You see that? So a lot of people that really don't want to hear that talk, they don't want to hear the talk of the world ending. The world ending. They in the house of mirth. So they gonna walk away. And they gonna avoid that conversation. Cause they don't want you to kill their high. They don't want you to mess up they good time, they so-called good time. But like I said earlier, there ain't no good time here. You know, it's a blur. It's like a smoke. It's kind of here for a minute and it's going away. You go on a so-called vacation, you try to escape. Next thing you know, hey, somebody done stole something from you, or some fee done came out of your account. Now you kind of gotta reroute your whole schedule. How we was gonna do this, and we was gonna do that the next day, but a bill came out, so we thought we had the money for that, but we gotta cancel that. Next thing you know, somebody call you, hey, you know, cousin Joe died. Next thing you know, they gotta figure out how they gonna get the money for cousin Joe's funeral. Next thing you know, your boss man texting you, hey, I know we had you on vacation for the night, but you think you can come in early tomorrow? Next thing you know, hey, your whole trip done, you know, ramsacked. Your so-called vacation and got you out of the spirit. And that's how the Most High do. Most High test you. So you thought you was gonna go on a family trip, huh? Can't go nowhere without me. So this is Matthew chapter 5, and I'm gonna start at verse 1. And this whole thing is about mourning. You being in the truth, you mourning. You think about Yahweh Shah, you mourn. Ah, man, the cross. Gosh. Crucifixion, bleeding all day, getting hit in the mouth all day, thorns in his head all day. You know, being in the truth is a state of mourning. You know, you can't even really move how you want to. You know, you got worldly people around you. You trying to think of precepts. You know, you trying to figure out what precept you need to meditate on, because you might have had a wicked thought that come to your mind. Now you trying to figure out how can you duck off and pray. Or you might be at your house and you got people around you. So this whole, hey, being in the truth is mourning, period. So this is Matthew chapter 5 and verse 1. And seeing the multitudes, he went up into a mountain. And when he was set, his disciples came unto him. So just imagine that. You can teleport and just get up out of there. Verse 2. And he opened his mouth and taught them, saying, blessed are the poor in spirit. See that? Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Blessed are they that mourn, for they shall be comforted. And this is red letters. The Messiah said, blessed are they that mourn. Why would he say, blessed to them that mourn? Why would he say that? Because you, hey, for one, you got your mind on things that everybody else ain't got their mind on. You know? And he said you're going to be comforted. He's going to comfort you. So let's read it again. Matthew chapter 5 and verse 4. It says, blessed are they that mourn, for they shall be comforted. And that's why it's important to read. That's why it's very important to read, because for one, prophecy can comfort you. Wisdom, knowledge, and understanding can comfort you. And that's what the Holy Spirit does. The Holy Spirit comforts you. You know, let me get that real quick in St. John. Knowing what's going to happen at the end of the world, that's a comfort. Because what if your grandfather was killed and the murderer they didn't do nothing to him? If the Most High gave you the understanding of what's going to happen at the end of the world, that can kind of help you out a little bit. As far as how your mind may be all over the place. Now this is St. John chapter 14, and I'm going to start at verse 26. It says, but the Comforter, which is the Holy Ghost, and you know it's the Holy Spirit, but the Comforter, which is the Holy Spirit, whom the Father will send in my name, he shall teach you all things and bring all things to your remembrance, whatsoever I have said unto you. So, hey, you get comfort in these last days. You know, the Most High put it on my spirit to come for you right now. You know, letting you know that, hey, look, it's time to fast more. It's time to pray more. It's time to draw closer to the Most High more. You know, and that's a very bold thing to do. To say, look, you know what, you know, I need to put the food and the water down, you know, and I need to afflict myself. Now I want to get this in Proverbs real quick, you know, because they not gonna wait. They gonna do it now. They ain't gonna wait the next week. You know, they ain't gonna wait till the bombs drop. They gonna do it right now. You know, or they might have done it yesterday or last week. Now let me get this in Proverbs 8 real quick. This is Proverbs chapter 8, and I'm gonna start at verse 17. It says, I love them that love me, and those that seek me early shall find me. So, hey, who after the live gonna do a fast? You know, so man, you know what? I'm about to go on a fast. You know, I need to go ahead and go on a fast. Get my spirit right. You know, I've been dealing with a lot anyways. That brother was right. You know, the Most High sent him to tell me I need to go on a fast. All hell breaking loose in my household. All hell breaking loose on the job. My health all over the infirmities, sickness, aches and pains. I need to go on a fast. That's what you need to tell yourself. You need to tell yourself that getting closer to the Most High is more important than a Big Mac, some tacos, chili cheese fries, a large Sprite. Getting closer to the Most High is well more important than some chicken wings, man. That's probably really you know, a 3D chicken wing at that. This place is so wicked and vile and corrupt. This food ain't even real. Here it is, you know, ate 16 wings and you still hungry. And you're not going on a fast. You're gonna wake up and your stomach gonna be turned upside down. You're gonna throw up. Cause you don't watch the video and the Most High told you to fast. You might wake up with the sweats. Say, man, I gotta stop playing with the Most High. So reading it one more time, Proverbs chapter 8 and verse 17. I love them that love me, and those that seek me early shall find me. So if you really love the Most High, if you really fear the Most High, if you are really in this thing, it ain't gonna take you all day and night to figure it out. Dang, when should I do it? Should I do it tomorrow? Should I do it next week? Dang, my schedule jam packed. So I'm gonna do it next week. And next week ain't never gonna come if you thinking like that. Cause how can you how do you know? How can you discern if the Most High gave you your last warning? Your very last, this is the last time. What the Most High is saying, this is the last time. He keep watching pornography. She keep talking to that dude, knowing she married. They keep doing the same thing, thinking I'm gonna forgive them. If they don't do a fast, if they don't call a fast right now, what if the Most High say that? If they don't call a fast right now and pray and fast that demon away, I'm gonna take them out. What if the Most High say that? What if you wake up and the Most High take every precept from you day by day? Day by day. Or even every book. You wake up tomorrow, book of Genesis, gone. You don't remember nothing in Genesis. You know. Gone, everything, gone. And then the next week, you wake up, your love for the Most High, gone. Now you just wake up and say, dang. Should I join Buddha? Should I join Islam? hey, when you really think about it, hey, the Most High is terrible. You know, let me read this real quick in Nehemiah. You cannot play with the Most High, and this is all through the spirit and the power of the Most High. This is how I think. Like, you know, you cannot play with the Most High. Now, this is the book of Nehemiah, chapter 1, and I'm gonna start at verse 4. And to whom gonna start their fast or do whatever? Hey, look, Nehemiah chapter 1. Hey, read that. You know, open up your fast with Nehemiah chapter 1. Now, this is Nehemiah chapter 1 and verse 4. And it came to pass when I heard these words that I sat down and wept and mourned certain days and fasted and prayed before the Most High God of heaven and said, I beseech thee, O Lord, Yahweh by Shema Shah, Most High God of heaven, the great and terrible Most High God. The Most High don't care if your child just been born. If you wicked, hey, look, the Most High, he can get up with you. The Most High don't care if you just bought that car. He don't care if you just bought that house. He don't care if you just got that job. When he put a hit on you, he gonna put a hit on you. You know, go back and look what happened to David. You know, David, hey, he got a whole man murdered and slept with his wife, sent the man back to his wife, and he thought that child was gonna live. Most High got that child up out of there. Out of there. Gone. Quit. You know, and David fasted. You know, David was fasting. So reading this again, Nehemiah 1 and 5. And said, I beseech thee, O Lord, Yahweh by Shema Shah, Most High God of heaven, the great and terrible Most High God, that keepeth covenant and mercy for them that love him and observe his commandments. And that's a cut for you over righteous, saved, sanctified, filled with the Holy Ghost Christians. Said, observe his commandments. You doing what he say, you know. You doing what the words say, not just what you believe. Open up your mouth, confess. You doing what the word actually says, you know, and you love him. You know, if you love the Most High, you're going to afflict your soul. You're going to put your flesh down and you're going to say, look, man, I've been going off. You know, I can't keep watching porn no more. I can't keep smoking that blunt no more. I can't keep getting drunk no more. You know, I can't keep messaging that woman no more. Or if you're a woman, you can't, hey, look, you can't just be, you know, letting anybody do anything with you. You're going to have to commit one way or another. You know, it's either you get down with the Most High or he going to lay you down, you know. So let me get this in Sirach real quick. You know, kind of got to speed up. I didn't want this to be too long, but hey, we not going to quench the spirit either. Now, this is Sirach chapter 32, you know, and this is the mindset of mourners, you know. If you ain't mourning, hey, look, your spirit is off. Your mindset is in the world. You think you in the truth, but you not. If you not in this truth mourning, if you're not mourning in this truth, you're not in the truth. I'm gonna just keep it real with you. You're not. Now, I'm not saying you can't have a day where you kind of, you know, just, you know, kind of take your mind off certain things. You kind of doing your pastimes. You might watch a game or something here and there, but look, the world is ending. Let me get this real quick. I just thought about this precept. I kind of wanted to get this earlier. The world is ending. So-called white man is gonna pull all the stops out when it's said and done. And you think you're gonna be ready to handle all of that? And you not fasting? And you not praying? Now, I don't hear a lot of brothers say this, but I'm gonna say it. You gotta stop acting like your stuff don't stink, man. You know. Nobody cares that you got a good job. Nobody cares that you got a nice house. Nobody cares that you got a nice car. And when I say nobody cares, the angels don't care. Because we don't worry about it. Only thing you should be worried about in this truth is Yahweh, Yahweh Shah, and the angels, meaning the spirits. Because them three right there, they gonna get up with you one way or another. You know, your wife, as a man, your wife, look, she bound to you. And if you a woman, your husband bound to you. But the Most High, and the angels, they can get your body here quick. Now, this is 2nd Ezra chapter 6 and verse 8. It says, and he said unto me, so like, I want to go up a little bit. 2nd Ezra chapter 6, and I'm going to start at verse 6. Then did I consider these things, and they all were made through me alone, and through none other, but by me also they shall be ended, and by none other. Then answered I and said, what shall be the parting asunder of the times? Or when shall be the end of the first, and the beginning of it that followeth? 2nd Ezra in Apocrypha chapter 6 and verse 8. And he said unto me, from Abraham unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born. Of him, Jacob's hand held first the heel of Esau. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. So the so-called white man and all his ancestors, their time is coming short. And so as that spirit ramp up, them knowing that their time is coming short, what you think they're going to do to you? What you think they're going to do to me? Whom knowing the truth, knowing the lies that they put out there, and prophesying and teaching and talking about their downfall, they finna go crazy. Like what's the movie? The movie Will Smith and that infection that broke out, I Am Legend. That the main man that was the leader of that pack of them infected people, you know, he was the strongest out of amongst all of them. So it's a lot of elites that's the strongest amongst all of these so-called white people. And they're gonna be the main ones that's pushing these laws to shut us up, to try to kill us, to try to make us look like we're bad, we're the enemies. So look, now is the time to prepare now. While the NBA is on, college basketball is on, parties are going on. Now is the time to prepare now. And you preparing, and the Most High gonna back you up. He gonna say, look, you know what? I prophesied that certain things is gonna happen to Jacob's descendants, but it's a remnant that's gonna prepare themselves, and I'm gonna protect them. So moving on, Sirach 32 and 14, and it reads, whoso feareth the Lord, Yahweh Bashmel Shah, will receive his discipline. So somebody was looking for a precept where it says, show me where it says I gotta fast. You Pharisees and Sadducees out there, show me where it says I gotta fast besides the Day of Atonement. Well, if you got the spirit of discipline, you gonna discipline your body. You gonna abstain and withhold yourself from such things that a lot of people idolize in these last days. Comfort, comfortability. They don't like to feel that pain. They don't like to feel that affliction. They don't like to feel that tribulation. So what you doing now can help you in that certain day that nobody has witnessed. No man, woman, child, or animal, or anything on the earth that's alive. So the Most High said again, and this is Ecclesiasticus in the Apocrypha. Like we always try to encourage you. If you got an Apocrypha, you gotta read this. You kind of gotta get. And matter of fact, I got my 16 and 11 right here. You gotta get up in there. So let me show you the, for those that may be new, you know, for those that may be new, got Genesis, and that middle part right there, the book of the Apocryphas, all right? First Edges all the way to Second Maccabees. And if for those that's keeping the destruction of Nicanor, which is so-called Saturday at sundown, hey, look, you got to read the Maccabees in order to get up in there. So going back to this, Sirach 32:14 again, it says, whoso feareth the Lord will receive his discipline, and they that seek him early shall find favor. So what if the Most High told you, hey, look, those that's fasting and praying, I'm going to have favor on them? While everybody else is clubbing and watching the NBA, watching the college March Madness, and going to the J. Cole concert, you know, listen to the J. Cole album, and, you know, trying to worry about what these celebrities doing, trying to worry about who bowing down, who idolizing who. For those that's following me, I'm going to favor them. And not only favor them, I'm going to protect them in Jacob's trouble. What if the Most High literally came to your dream and told you that? You know, came to you in your sleep and made himself known, saying, hey, I'm going to protect you. You know, that, hey, that'd be something crazy. So let's go to Esther real quick. You know, so Lord willing, you gonna fast. You know, Lord willing, you gonna fast and you gonna pray. Especially if you're dealing with something. Pain, it can be anything, you know. Fasting and prayer is very key. So let's go to Esther real quick. I want to get this precept real quick in Esther. Mighty woman of Yahweh Shemel Shah. I got a couple more precepts I want to get, but I want to grab this real quick. Now this is Esther chapter 3, and I want to start at verse 7. Esther chapter 3 and verse 7, and it reads, it says, in the first month, that is the month Nisan, in the 12th year of the king Azarias, they cast Purim, that is the lot before Haman, from day to day and from month to month, to the 12th month, that is the month of Adar. So they was, you know, casting lots on trying to kill all of the Jews, so-called Negroes, if you can understand, you know, your Jeremiahs, you know, if you can understand, Judites, you know. And my rib is Judite, you know. So not only that, but it's the same thing that happened to the northern kingdom, the Issacharites and the Gadites, you know, the Reubenites, try to extinct all of us, try to wipe all of us out. Same thing here. You know, as it say pure, as we understand, this is why it's known as Purim, if you can understand. So reading again, Esther chapter 3 and verse 7. In the first month, that is the month Nisan, in the 12th year of King Azarias, they cast Purim, that is the lot. That's what Purim means. It means lot. Before Haman, from day to day and from month to month, to the 12th month, that is the month of Adar. Verse 8, and Haman said unto King Azarias, there is a certain people scattered abroad and dispersed. And when you read 1 Peter chapter 1 verse 1, it also shows you it gives you the sense of that being scattered as well. And we know that to be Yasharallah, Israelites. Scattered abroad and dispersed among the people in all the provinces of thy kingdom, and their laws are diverse from all people. Neither keep they the king's laws, therefore it is not for the king's profit to suffer them. So here it is, you got a so-called nasty Edomite that want us dead and gone. not only want us dead and gone, but want our children dead and gone. Because we was keeping the laws, statutes, and commandments of our forefathers, of Yahweh by Shemiah Shah, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. You know. And so what does the Most High tell us about that? Let's go to Deuteronomy real quick. Let's go to Deuteronomy. Now, they want to kill our babies. They want to kill our... And still to this day, they want to do this. They just ain't moving in the spirit like it was back then. They got more crafty now, if you can understand. They got more Christianity-like, if you can understand. Kind of getting crafty. Kind of switching things up. So this is Deuteronomy chapter 28. And I want to start at verse 49. And it reads, Deuteronomy 28 and 49, it says, the Lord Yahweh shall bring a nation against thee from far, from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle flieth, a nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand. A whole nother language. We spoke Hebrew, you know. Now they came with English. Verse 50, Deuteronomy 28 and 50, a nation of fierce countenance, which shall not regard the person of the old, nor shew favor to the young. All the way in Deuteronomy, it told us that these people that are well known as our enemies, they gonna kill the old man, old woman, and they gonna kill the little boy and little girl, infant babies, and so on and so forth. Even when you read Maccabees, that happened. You know, they were hanging babies. All because we was circumcising our little boys and keeping the law, statute, commandments, and keeping the Sabbath day. It's nothing new. Nothing new. Now I want to go down to verse 13. Esther chapter 3 and verse 13. And Lord willing, you will read this for those that's keeping Purim, you know, so-called starting Sunday night at March 1st, I believe. So Esther chapter 3 verse 13. And the letters were sent by post into all the king's provinces, because they wanted to kill the Israelites. They wanted to kill the Jews. You know, so they were sending out decrees and letters, you know, going from house to house, you know, plotting on, you know, the downfall of Yasharallah. Esther chapter 3 verse 13. And the letters were sent by post into all the king's provinces to destroy, to kill, and to cause to perish all Jews, both young, both young, and the brother, the water said, and we spoke ancient Hebrew. That's right. It says, both young and old, little children and women, in one day. So they wanted to wipe us out in one day, you know. In one day. Just imagine that. That's a lot of killing. And you gotta be wicked to want to kill a whole nation in one day. How wicked could you be? And now people just assume, just because we got Yahweh Shai, that he gonna forget that. That they plan devices in their mind, and they had councils to want to kill all so-called Negroes, which Yahweh Shai himself is a so-called Negro, a Judite. You know, make it make sense. So Esther chapter 3 verse 13, and the letters were sent by post into all the king's provinces to destroy, to kill, and to cause to perish all Jews, both young and old, little children and women, in one day, even upon the 13th day of the 12th month. And this is the 12th month we in now. You know, our so-called new year starts next month. So-called March, I believe it's March 17th at sundown, which is the first month of the so-called new year. Even upon the 13th day of the 12th month, which is the month of Adar, and to take the spoil of them for a prey. So they wanted to kill our men, they wanted to kill our women, our kings and our sisters, and the little babies, and you know, the little boys and little girls, and they wanted to take all our spoils, you know. So, you know, Why would you not mourn? You know, and they still want to do that to this day. Now, we're going to jump down to chapter 4. Now, Esther chapter 4 and verse 1. When Mordecai perceived, now Mordecai is a Jew, you know, so-called Negro man, who adopted Esther. You know, when you read that, you will understand. Esther chapter 4 and verse 1. When Mordecai perceived all that was done, Mordecai rent his clothes and put on sackcloth with ashes and went out into the midst of the city and cried with a loud and bitter cry, and came even before the king's gate, for none might enter into the king's gate clothed with sackcloth. And in every province, whithersoever the king's commandment and his decree came, there was great mourning among the Jews, and fasting, and weeping, and wailing, and many lay in sackcloth and ashes. So, Mordecai and Esther, they fasted, and they was mourning. Why was they mourning? Because the entire so-called white race wanted to extinct all of the so-called Negroes. So it was a time to lift your voice on high and pray and ask and sup and proclaim and throw up supplications to the Most High, that he will allow them to overcome that and endure that. Now, they could have folded. They could have said, look, it's over for us. There ain't no hope. But what does the Most High say in Sirach chapter 14? Let me get this right quick. I didn't plan to do this, but, you know, edification. Let me get this in Ecclesiastes chapter 14. This is the Apocrypha. Sirach chapter 14, and I'm going to start at verse 1. It says, blessed is the man that had not slipped with his mouth and is not pricked with the multitude of sins. Now, what if our forefathers and foremothers was going off, you know? What if our forefathers and foremothers was going off to the point where when they found out this was going to happen, they could have said, man, I'm wicked. Man, this is judgment from the Most High. Man, I knew I shouldn't have committed adultery. Man, it's over for me, man. You know, Salaki Yahweh, let your will be done. And just put their head down. Next thing you know, just wait for all Haman and Azariah's men to come in and kill them. Don't be pricked with the multitude of your sins. Get up, fast, and pray. Because the so-called white man, he want to end you. He want to end you. He want to end your wife. He want to end your daughter. He want to end your son, your whole congregation, your mama, your daddy, your uncle, your cousins, your grandee, your everybody. He want to off everybody in your nation. And you over there, man, I'm going off. You know, judgment from the Most High. The white man planning right now how to get you up out of here. Quick. Overnight. And you don't want to fast. Your forefathers and foremothers fasted 3 days while the white man plotting and planning to end their life overnight in 1 day. Like, make it make sense. You gotta fight. 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 So Sirach chapter 14. Blessed is the man that had not slipped with his mouth and is not pricked with the multitude of sins. Here's the key. Verse 2. Blessed is he whose conscience had not condemned him. Our forefathers and foremothers' conscience didn't condemn them. They threw up a fast. They said, man, everybody fast. Hey, the whole nation fast. All you Jews going to fast right now. Ain't now one of y'all about to eat nothing tonight. Ain't now one of y'all about to drink nothing tonight. You better fast. I'm led to believe. They said, if I see anybody put anything in their mouth, I'm offing you right now. White men ready to end us right now. You better go on a fast right now. You know, I'm led to believe, hey, everybody was lit. They were mourning. Yahweh Shemel Shah, Yahweh Shemel Shah, call Yahweh Shemel Shah, Brakata Yahweh Shah. I'm led to believe it was going crazy in the spirit. You know, so the Most High says, Sirach 14:2, blessed is he whose conscience had not condemned him. Because you don't know when the white man gonna come. You know, You don't know when Esau, you don't know when Amalek, you don't know when Moab, you don't know when Ammon, you don't know when the Hagar, you don't know when they gonna come, you don't know when none of your enemies gonna pull up on you. So you best to stay in the spirit, fast, get on the right side with the Most High, and let him protect you. Or else, you gonna have your head down. And you gonna get your brains blown out. You know? And you gonna die in that land of your enemy like a fool. You know, we got the Most High, we got the angels. Come on now. You know, read these precepts, man. Get in the sword. Stop being so effeminate. You know, and you women, we need y'all to woman up. We need Esther's on the earth, man. Where Esther? Where the women that got the spirit of Esther at? You know. Esther said, if I perish, I'll perish. She said, if I die, I die. You know, who got that spirit in these last days? But you got brothers, man, I got to get me a Shanti type. I got to get me a Beyonce type. I got to get me a... Look, man, you better get you a Esther, you know. Saying, look, we going to do this, and if I die, I die, you know. So let's go down. Let's go down. Esther chapter 4 and verse 16. You know. So this is Esther chapter, and we got to wind down. Esther chapter 4 and verse 16. It says, you know, I kind of want to read a little bit more, but Most High willing, y'all read this on your own. This is mighty. So I'm going to start at verse 13. Esther chapter 4 and verse 13. Then Mordecai commanded to answer Esther, think not with thyself that thou shalt escape in the king's house more than all the Jews. For if thou altogether holdest thy peace at this time, then shall their enlargement and deliverance arise to the Jews from another place. But thou and thy father's house shall be destroyed. And who knoweth whether thou art come to the kingdom for such a time as this? So if you give up, like, hey, he telling Esther, Mordecai telling, you know, not only the woman that he adopted and brought in after, you know, everything else was left in shambles, no father, no mother, kind of took her in. The same thing he telling, hey, man, look, you know, if you don't do this, the whole nation gonna perish. You know, hey, that's how you brothers gotta think, man. You know, man, if I don't teach, man, look, who gonna encourage you? Who gonna exhort you? You know, that's how you gotta think. You know, if I don't pray for you, who gonna pray for you? If I don't fast for you, who gonna fast for you? It's so much you can pray and fast for. It ain't just you. You can pray and fast for another brother, another congregation, your spouse, you know, your children. More faith. You can fast and pray that demon off of you. That you can fast and pray that you overcome. Every time Satan try to get on you, say, nah, Salaki. You know, get thee behind me, Satan. You know, you throwing up prayers, you know. So Mordecai telling her, the Most High brought you here for this. Don't you, hey, you don't realize the Most High brought you here for this. And that's a mighty way to look at it. You know. So Esther chapter 4 and verse 16. So like, I'm going to read that one more time. It's mighty right here. Esther chapter 4 verse 14. For if thou altogether holdest thy peace, if you hold your peace, like I said earlier, if you don't fight, you're going to get wiped out. Straight up. That's why Yahweh Shah said, paraphrasing, he who endure, the same shall be saved. So our forefathers and foremothers, they endured. They stood that test. That was a test. It's a lot more tests that I got to go through. It's a lot more tests that you got to go through. So you cannot give up. You can't let these tests scare you. Oh, man, I lost my job. Oh, man, my wife committed adultery. I lost my wife. Man, it took me so much to put in that marriage. Man, I spent so much money. I bought this, I bought that. Took care of her, took care of the children. Did this and did that. Hey, look. When I first came into the truth, I found out my ex-wife cheated on me for the second time. I didn't look back. You know, I'm still here, giving you exhortation. That was a big test for me. Still holding on. So what? You know, hey, it is what it is. I'm trying to get to the kingdom. I ain't got time to be worried about, you know, he say, she say, you know, who and what and when, where and why. You know, I know it's better things the Most High got in store for me that I ain't seen. Romans 8:18, you know. The Most High can't tell you everything he got for you. Most High can't show you everything he got for you. You gonna bug out. You gonna lose your mind. Oh man, I got mansions, man. Oh man, that house is crazy, man. Next thing you know, you calling out of work. Man, I got a mansion. Y'all gotta see this, man. And now you trying to get people to think, look, stay here. Let me show you. It's 95 million square feet. Hold on, let me now you bugging out. You know, that's why the Most High ain't gonna show you and tell you everything, man. You know, nor give you everything. You know, Most High ain't gonna give you no opportunity to have miracles. You know, now you selling miracles. Now you bringing people back from the dead. You on Jay Leno's show. You going on Saturday Night Live. You going on Wildin' Out with Nick Cannon, casting demons off people. Now you done made a fool of yourself. So Mordecai said, hey, look, you can't hold your peace. You cannot hold your peace. So let's read this so we can finish this. Esther 4:14, for if thou altogether holdest thy peace at this time, then shall their enlargement and deliverance arise to the Jews. So if you don't fight, these white folk finna go crazy, man. They finna bring out more. You know, they finna do more. You know, if we stop teaching, man, these white people gonna go crazy, man. You know, not just that, but the so-called Negroes that's joining with them. You know, the sellouts, they gonna go crazy too. Someplace in America, you got somebody waiting to see if I'm gonna fall out the truth. See if you gonna fall out the truth, man. Let's see what false doctrine he come with today. Ah man, he ain't feel like yet. Ah man, I was hoping he was gonna get sifted out. You know, I know it. Somewhere somebody hoping I get sifted out. I fall out of the truth. The same for you. You know. So you can't hold your peace. It said, but thou and thy father's house shall be destroyed, and who knoweth whether thou art come to the kingdom for such a time as this? Esther 4:15. Then Esther bade them return Mordecai this answer. Go gather together all the Jews that are present in Shushan, and fast ye for me, and neither eat nor drink 3 days, night or day. I also and my maidens will fast likewise. How many women saying that? Hey, look, me and my sisters, we gonna fast with y'all. And so will I go in unto the king, which is not according to the law. And if I perish, I perish. She said, hey, look, I'm gonna do what I gotta do. Because I know I can't go in unannounced. I gotta wait for that subtree to be held out. And I gotta touch my hand on that subtree. But I ain't gonna worry about that. I'm gonna do what I gotta do. For me and my nation, believing and trusting and having faith and fear in Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua. And she said, if I perish, I perish. And that's the spirit you gotta have. You know, if you perish, man. You better go on a fast. If you faint, you faint. So what? What better way to lay your life down for the Most High? What better way? I'd rather go out like that than any other way. You know? And that's what Esther said. You know? But let's get Jeremiah real quick. Because we just read. And I said, because I like to read stuff like this. You know, I'm a Gadite. You know, I don't forget, and I pray the Most High don't take this spirit away from me. I hate the so-called white man. I'm gonna keep it straight. If you a so-called Caucasian on this live right now, Just know this. Matter of fact, I'm going to read this because somebody might clip this. See, these Israelites are wicked, you know. But so what, man? So what? Y'all white folk have did a number on us, man. Let me get this real quick. Let me read this before I read that. So this is Psalms 139, and I'm going to start at verse 21. Psalms 139 and 21. It says, do not I hate them, O Lord Yahweh, that hate thee. And this is King David. You know, the man that was after the Most High's heart. You know. So it says, Psalms 139 and verse 21. Do not I hate them, O Lord Yahweh, that hate thee, and am not I grieved. So, David was mourning too. You know, David was mourning too, and am not I grieved with those that rise up against thee. So who's rising up against the Most High every day? You know, abortion clinics, Plan Bs, you know, putting pork in your food, you know, done change all the images of the prophets to Caucasians. Then change the image of the anointed, King of Kings and the Lord of Lords, the Messiah, to a Caucasian. You know, don't forget who rose up against the Lord now. You know, Epstein files, pedophiles, popping little children. You know, don't forget who rose up against the Most High now. You know, secret sex islands, private islands, where abominable works are being done. You act like the Most High don't see that. The Most High see all of them. He got a day, a time, and an hour, and a place for all that to be repaid. You know. Psalms 139 and 22. I hate them with perfect hatred. I count them my enemies. You see that? So let me get this in Jeremiah, because I got to close this out. Jeremiah chapter 49, and I'm going to start at verse 20. And it reads, it says, therefore, hear the counsel of the Lord Yahweh, that he had taken against Edom, and his purposes, that he had proposed against the inhabitants of Teman. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he shall make their habitations desolate with them. You see that? Now, if you need to, now let me read this in the NLT for you to understand. Jeremiah 49 and 20 in the NLT. It says, listen to the Lord Yahweh's plans against Edom and the people of Teman. Even the little children will be dragged off like sheep, and their homes will be destroyed. And so what did they do to our little children? What did they do to our little children? What did they do to our brothers and our sisters? Our forefathers and foremothers? Hey, they did the same thing and much worse. You know. So, hey, Lord willing, that was edifying to y'all. Praise to Yahweh by Shema B'Shah HaMashiach. Call her Lord Yahweh by Shema B'Shah HaMashiach. Peace and blessing to you. Lord willing, you stay in the spirit and you continue to forsake the flesh and the cares of this world to the best of your ability. And get up. You know, go on and fast and throw out them prayers. Get in the word and fight. Peace and blessing to you.